Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today we're going to be discussing how LEGO Ninjago Season 14 The Island could potentially connect into Season 15 Seabound. So I wanted to go over this because I thought it could be an interesting thing to sort of discuss how I feel that the island is going to lead into Seabound, because it seems like these two are very closely connected, with basically it just ending with the island and then picking up straight after into Seabound. So I wanted to kind of discuss how I think these two will wind up connecting and what I think it's going to mean for the ninja and the characters just as a whole. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Alright, so we're going to get started here by going over two different descriptions here. One of them is for the final episode of the island, which is titled The Tooth of Wohira, and then the other one is a quick synopsis for Season 15 of Seabound. So I wanted to go over both of these and then kind of see how we can connect the two of them and kind of just discuss and make some theories just about how I think the two of them will wind up connecting. So the synopsis that we have here for The Tooth of Wohira says, the ninja have to watch how Jay is to be given away by the island people in order to appease the reawakened storm spirit Wohira. So as we can see from the synopsis here, of course, it's telling us kind of stuff that we already knew about how Jay is going to be given away to the island people basically, and then how he is going to be given as a gift to appease the reawakened storm spirit Wohira. So of course Wohira is a big connecting point to Season 15 of Seabound, because of course Wohira is a storm spirit, so it's gonna have something to do with the ocean, I'm going to assume, and that'll possibly be what kind of prompts the ninja to have to travel into the ocean. And then with the Season 15 description here, it reads, when Nia's powers are disrupted, the ninjas set off in search of answers and find themselves at the bottom of endless oceans, where they discover that her powers are linked to an ancient mythical creature. So this is very interesting because, of course, from what we've heard from Season 14, The Island, it does seem to be centered around Lloyd and Nia primarily, I would say. And then, of course, Seabound seems to be primarily focused around Nia, which I did do a video discussing the title reveal of Seabound. And, of course, that is not the 100% official title because it is just a translation from a French TV website. So it could wind up being a little inaccurate. But if that is correct, then, of course, it kind of mirrors the Skybound season as well, and that could hint towards some other plot lines, also potentially things including Nauticon, or just things to do with kind of it being Nia's season and Skybound being Jay's first main season. So it would kind of make sense from that perspective as well, but it's interesting to discuss for sure. And I think kind of the main way, if I had to make a theory here, and I know that there are leaks that have been released kind of revealing how the island does wind up concluding, but if I'm not going off of any of that information, which I have tried to avoid it to the best of my ability so that I don't get any spoilers, so I will kind of just go into this with my blind sort of opinion here as to what could wind up happening. And in my personal opinion, I think that the season has a few possibilities. I feel like the island could conclude with them just wind up saving Jay from Wohira, and then it could just be that the next season just picks up with them getting called to the ocean or something, drawing them towards it, with Nia's powers being disrupted. Now, I'm not sure what could wind up doing that, if it'll have something to do with Wohira, because of course, I think potentially Nia could kind of be the one who has to mainly sort of rescue Jay. Of course, I think the other ninja are going to have to wind up helping him, but I think it could have something to do with that, and maybe something potentially to do with the storm amulet as well. Who's to say at the moment, but it's definitely gonna have something that's some sort of effect on Nia's powers, and I think that's why they'll have to go to the bottom of the ocean, because if you kind of think back to like the ninja kind of finding their true potential, it was only sort of in environments that sort of like matched their elemental abilities, or at least just gave them sort of strong emotions as well, and I think this could kind of be something that does that for Nia going into these endless oceans here. I think that that could be the thing that kind of reconnects her to her true elemental ability, and then we kind of find out about how, as it says in the description, how her powers are linked to an ancient mythical creature, which I've kind of made theories that that could potentially be Wohira. Of course, it would make sense, but who knows how big of a part Wohira is going to be. Like, are the ninja going to be able to defeat Wohira in kind of the finale of the island? Because it seems like a lot of things to sort of pack into that, and it feels more like the island is sort of an introduction for Wohira, and then it's kind of a threat that we're going to to have to deal with throughout the course of the next season. So I feel like that would honestly make the most sense, at least in my personal opinion, but there's definitely a few different sort of directions that you could go off of with that. And I don't think by any means that Jay is actually going to wind up, like, dying for any reason. I know there's a lot of theories going around, and I've talked about them as well in separate videos also, of Jay maybe potentially dying or having something else happen. Some other big event with Nia, of course, a wedding of some sort. So I think something like that is definitely approaching in 2021, at least by the end of it. And I think that could definitely be something interesting that they kind of build up to, but I don't by any means think that in the island anything serious is going to happen to Jay. I think he's going to be a big part of season 15, but something that I could maybe see that's like non-life threatening to Jay is that maybe he winds up getting captured somehow and taken into the ocean. I mean, this could potentially happen to any of the ninja, but if you want to make it a direct connection from Nia to Jay, then I think that would honestly make the most sense, to kind of have him be the one who's captured and then they have to go into the ocean to try to rescue him, something of that sort. And I've heard it being kind of discussed that Nia might be able to maybe like breathe underwater, because of course then in Ninja having to go underwater, they're going to have some sort of specialized suit to be able to do this. And I know like there's some leaks that kind of show things about that, but I'm just going to not acknowledge that because I don't like to sort of discuss that stuff until it's officially revealed. So just from my own personal theory, of course they're going to have something of that sort, and I think that maybe Nia, once she sort of unlocks her quote-unquote true potential, I think that something like that could kind of happen for her, where maybe she's just able to breathe underwater. So I think that could kind of be a cool power that she could sort of unlock within that season. And yeah, just overall, I think there's so many different theories that you can kind of go off of here of how the two seasons can sort of connect to each other. Of course, it's going to be a very close connection between the two of them. I would honestly compare it the most to season 8 connecting to season 9. I mean, those two are just directly connected to each other, of course, as well as the March of the Oni as well, which is connected to it, which honestly, I would compare the way that that was released kind of to how the island is being released as well, because of course, the March of the Oni was sort of like the smaller, or the episodes kind of connecting together to make one sort of like full like movie, you could sort of call it, for Ninjago, and that kind of feels like what the island is doing, just on a slightly smaller scale as well, with the time and everything, of course, with each episode just being 11 minutes and then combining into the 45-minute special. So I think that honestly makes the most sense with that sort of like a theory of how it's kind of going to be delivered, but I definitely do find it quite interesting for that reason. So overall, I think that there is definitely going to be, of course, a strong connection between both of the seasons. I think just by everything I've talked about in this video, you can definitely see how evident that is. But for now, I want to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on how Season 14, The Island, is going to connect to Season 15, Seabound. I really want to hear your opinions on it and what sort of theories you can come up with, because I'm sure there's hundreds of them that you can sort of discuss in the comments down below, and I'm really curious to hear them and participate in the discussion as well. So just be sure to let me know down below, and if you did enjoy this video, it would be highly appreciated if you could leave a like. Also subscribe as well if you want to stay up to date with the content that I'm putting out. It is highly appreciated, so thank you so much. I will see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.